welcome to the Pink Ink Art Journal construction. This is how your journal will come to you. It will come to you in a cellophane bag and in a pad. And in here you'll have all the pre-printed pages to construct your journal. So you've got spine, book jacket front, book jacket back, over 150 elements to cut out and use as decorative pieces for your pages, and then you've got all the double page spreads. I won't go through all of it, but this is how it will come to you. And I suggest that you do your colouring while it's flat in the pad. Try not to actually construct the piece and then do your colouring. What I do is I do all the pieces of colouring which I've got down here. I colour all the little components, cut them out, and I leave them in a tray, so I've got them to hand to then use for the construction of the pages. So we're going to start with the book jacket, and obviously I have pre-coloured mine. So we've got the book jacket front, the book jacket back, the outer spine, and this is what it's called actually in the paper pad, outer spine and inner spine. And I'll actually just show you the picture, the illustrated page for the spine, because that's what we're going to do first. So I've obviously jumped ahead with mine. Any arrows you see on pages means score. So what you'll do is draw, run a tool, a sharp pointy tool, an embossing tool or back of a scalpel or something, and a straight edge, and you're going to put all your score lines across all the dotted lines and all the dash lines. So anything with a dot and a dash is a score. Now here we've also got M and V. M stands for mountain, V for valley. So you're going to have the dashes are going to be mountain folds and the dots are going to be valley folds. So once you've put all your score lines in, and again you want to do this before you cut it out, then you're going to cut it out with scalpel or scissors, and you'll end up with a piece like this. And I've again jumped ahead, but you're going to put some either red liner tape, or you can just use wet glue. You can use cosmic shimmer glue if you like. And what we're going to do is make your valley and mountain folds, and so it's going to go like this. You can see, so it'll be easier to show actually when I've glued the whole lot. I've already glued the first three, so what you're creating is a flat back and then little uprights, which are your mountains, which are going to be that's going to hold your double page spreads. So you obviously put all your score lines in, and I always say you really do need to use a bone folder to get your folds in properly. This book, it does really need to be accurate when you're doing it, so everything lies square. So I've got red liner tape here. I'm just going to close the mountain folds. You can use wet glue as well if you want to, and just to be doubly sure, but red liner tape's perfectly adequate. And then fold the last one. So you've basically got like a concertina shape, but you've got a flat back like that. Okay, so that's your inner spine. Then your outer jackets, you're going to have again actually on the sheet, the printed sheet, just go here, book jacket left. Again you'll see the black arrows, and you're going to draw or put in a score line for the fold of the spine. Now if by accident you happen to chop off the black arrows and you forget, there's a little tiny dot here and here just to remind you where that score line is going to go, so don't worry about that. So what I've done is I've put a score line at the side and a score line in the centre, and I've done that on the front and the back of the jacket. And then you're going to fold it over, and this goes, the fold is the opposite way, so we've got it like this. Now the reason we have put this extra one in rather than just having one is if you're wanting to use alcohol markers, and the alcohol markers come through your paper, once you've sandwiched them together with glue, you're not going to see the back, so it's not going to spoil. And it's going to be the same with the inner pages, that you'll be able to use alcohol markers as well as crayons, watercolours, whatever you want to use. So our first job is to join the outer spine. I've coloured the outer to match the jackets. You're going to glue this edge to there. So I'll do it on the colour side so it's a bit easier for you to see. I think we'll use liner tape, but again, use whatever you like. And then you're just going to join the two together. It's such a simple construction. Where's my scissors gone? Scissors gone walkabout, so we'll use a scalpel. I generally actually at home always use a scalpel, I just find it easier. So we're going to peel this off, and then we're just going to add the outer spine, and it's got to be level with the score line and make it square. And then we're going to do the same for the other side. So again, this edge here is going to join this score line here. So again, a little bit of liner tape. Take the backing off. So that's the back, this is the front. Join up the score lines. If you've got wet glue, just to give you a chance to actually manoeuvre it if you haven't got it bang on straight. And the other thing is, if you don't want to actually see the black lines of the illustration, just colour it on the reverse and do it that way. So this is now our jacket, like this, and so we're going to bring this round, and then these are the pages of our jacket, like that. So our spine is going to sit in the gap we've just created with the outer spine. So inner spine is going to stick to the outer spine. So we'll use a bit of Cosmic Shimmer glue for this one, because I want to make sure that it's exactly in the right place. Okay, so centre it. You'll have a little bit of a gap top and bottom, but as long as it's centred, and obviously you're going to cover the little tabs of the front and back jacket. So we've now made our spine for which our pages are going to stick to. So what we can do now is actually glue these down, and that becomes the front and back. It also gives it a bit of strength actually, having it double-sided, but the real reason was because of the alcohol pen. Some people obviously like to use those for their colouring, so we'll do the same the other side. We'll just make this a little bit bigger. Oh yeah, that's better. So front to back, and of course you could, I haven't coloured mine, but you could colour the insides as well. The whole piece could be coloured, so it's all colour coordinated. So that's the very basic, simple form of how to construct our jacket. Okay, right, now moving on to some of the pages. Now we've got numbers on the pages as well. I haven't actually cut mine out, but they're here. They're really, really sweet, and you can actually put your pages in any order you like, but in the instructions I have actually said this is page 1 and that's page 2, but that's entirely up to you how you do it. So what we're going to do is we've got our armoire, and part of one of the illustrations actually is the doors for the armoire. So you've got the back and then the doors, right and left, which again, if there's a score line with black arrows on the illustration, you're going to score, fold with your bone folder and close the door. So that's why you need to colour on the inside, so that when you open your armoire, you're actually going to see it. And then your armoire, the back of your armoire, fits to your page. You could be really clever and you could put something in like shelving and put little things, illustrate little bottles or clothes, wardrobe or clothes. You could do anything that you liked. And that's our door. I love this page, I think it's such a pretty page. So that's page 1. Now page 2, there is actually another envelope. If you wanted to do decoupage and make it in relief, you can do, and we've got a little pen as well, but I'm just going to leave this page as it is, because I think it's just quite pretty. I mean, it'd be lovely to write somebody's name in it perhaps, or their address. So what we're going to do is we're going to close it and we're going to glue it together. Now with all the pages this applies. You want to make sure you leave a centimetre at the closing edge without glue, because this is where it's going to actually attach to the spine, and if we put glue in it then we won't actually be able to fit it on. So I'll just close it up. So about here is where I put page 1, but I mean you could put it anywhere you like, put it at the top or the side, or not bother with it at all. So that's our first page. Second page. Now the reason I've said this is second page is because I wanted the envelopes to match. You've got the front and the back, but again you don't have to do it in that order. And then we want to go back to our cutting mat. Now this is entirely optional. We can actually use the envelope to put something in. You could leave it as it is, so it's just an envelope with a back, and then we're going to put the flap on the top so it opens like that. Or what you can do, you can actually do it so it's got the facility to put something actually in the envelope, like a little message or like a tag or something. So what we need to do is we're just going to, with a scalpel, cut away this part of the envelope. I mean, how far you take this little journal is entirely up to you. You could keep it just really simple and just use what's there, or you could really go to town and go really bonkers with it. So now we've got actually access to the inside of our page through this little aperture we've just made. So when we put the top of the envelope in, we want the tag or the tab to be up and under, so it's hidden, so that when we open it we don't see the tab, it's disguised. So that's where that's going to fit. So I'm going to just glue the tab here at the top. So again, a little bit of cosmic shimmer, and stick it down. So that's our little envelope. I mean, it'd be lovely also if what you could do is actually colour the back of this page so that it had a coloured inside to your envelope. So make sure it goes right to the top. Push it a little bit more. Okay, second page, no, that's the third page, beg pardon, is the book. This is one of my, apart from the armoire, I think this is my favourite. So what we've got here is a book with an exterior jacket, and we've also got another page that we can put in. So if you wanted to write a message, happy birthday or a sentiment, you could put that on the inside, so you've got sort of like a folding book. But what I've done with this one, which I think is a really nice technique to do, in order to close the book, what you can do is put a ribbon in. And what I do is I make a slit in the jacket that's going to accommodate this really pretty ribbon that's all matching, and then just very gently push it through, and then we're actually going to put a little bit of glue to hold it in place. Like that. And there's loads of little ephemera that you can cut out and actually stick on the top to disguise that. So let's cut this one out. Now my top tip for cutting out the ephemera is not to cut on the illustrated line, is to actually cut. It doesn't matter whether you cut a millimetre or several millimetres, beyond the line, because as long as it's uniform, it doesn't matter. So if you're going to cut a millimetre, make sure it's all a millimetre. If it's 3mm, make sure it's 3mm, and it won't look any the worse for having a little bit of white paper. If you actually cut the illustration off, you sort of lose a bit of the integrity of the illustration, and it can spoil it a little bit. So that's going to disguise that. Oh, make sure it's up the right way up. So that's upside down, right way up, Kathy. There we go. And then what we're going to do is, with the page here, I'm going to stick the page just to the inside of this tab. So this is our first opening page. Now, if you're really clever, again, if you want to take it even further, what I've done is I've actually used this as a template, this page, and I have made like 10 sheets out of copy paper, and I've stuck one to the other just at the spine, so you've got a 10-page book, and I've given this book a bit of a like a 5mm spine, so it makes more of a book. That's not necessary, but it does make a really lovely little job of it, depending on if you want to put lots of messages in. And then of course you can then stick down this tab to your book. So that's going to go like that. Again, you could put more ephemera on the jacket, you could write a nice message. And then what we're going to do with the other side is we're going to cut this ribbon in half. And we're going to do exactly the same thing, but with this side. Now use the left hand side as a little mark, just to know that you make sure it's central. So we're going to just go down like that, and then I'm going to poke this one in. Okay, so I'm going to do exactly the same. Now this one we don't have to cover with anything decorative, because this actually is going to be the inside of our book, and it's not going to be seen. So when that's dry, we'd be able to tie the two together and make a really pretty decorative bow. And what we're going to do is glue the front and the back together. We have to remember not to put any glue here. Now what you can do, you can use a pencil or a tool and just put a little mark so you know where not to glue. Glue round it. Now remember, leave a centimetre at this edge for the spine. If you accidentally put glue there, you'll just have to very carefully prise it open again, and then we're going to join these two together. The pens that I've used to colour mine are just like a koi pen, like a watercolour brush. But you could use any pens, and the paper is just so pretty. It really lends itself to watercolours. It takes watercolour ever so well. It's a great smooth surface. So now what we can do is we can tie a bow to close our little book, and trim the ends. Like that. And I just think it makes a really nice little finishing touch to that book. So that's our next page. So that's page 3 and 4. And then I think this is the next one. Now apertures, obviously I've pre-painted, I've pre-scored, so that's going to be our right and left of the page, and I've cut the aperture out. And this really is perfect for putting your, if you want to do a bit of artwork or a photograph or something like that. And we've got a pink ink rice paper here, and I thought this, actually I think that one will be quite nice. Will look really pretty as the background, just as an example, but it could pretty well be anything. So trim it to size. And that's going to be put there. I mean, we have used some really lovely family photographs which you'll see on the packaging. Packaging is Mel's mum and my mum and dad on their engagement day, and my great aunt. Oops, upside down. Always check you've got it the right way up, like that. And then this one here, I think we've got a little pocket. Again, this one has got dash lines to show where the score lines are, but also on the illustration it has got a black arrow, so you can follow the black arrows. So you're going to score, fold over with your bone folder, get a really good crisp sharp edge, and then we're going to stick that down as well. And then you can put either more ephemera in your pocket or put photographs or anything that you like. And it's all drawn to fit and match and all look beautiful all together. So that's our next page. So in here, you know, you could put your little envelopes or anything you like. Again, we're going to close it up. Remember, leave a centimetre at the end, because that's where it's going to attach itself to the spine. So that's the third one. Fourth one, you do exactly the same again. Just get a little bit of the daisy. Use that daisy, I think. Put that one in. I'd like to get it actually finished. What we're going to do is probably do a bit of a fast time at the end where I'm decorating it up, so you can actually see the finished piece. So same again. We've tried to design it, there's something going on every page. So right way up. I'll just check it's the right way up. Yeah, lovely. Just get rid of any excess. And then we're going to close the page again, leaving a centimetre at the end. Close it up. And then this one here, we've got a little corner pocket. So again, I've scored on the dotted lines, illustrated with black arrows on the art journal. And so if that's the right way up, I'm going to have it in, we can either have it in that corner, I think I'm going to have it in that corner. Just use your optional extras. So that goes on there. And then, so we go like that. And then our last page is this gorgeous little mouse. And on this side, we do actually have a little pocket that you can use. Again, it's optional, you don't have to use it. I seem to be missing my... It has got... Well, I'll have a look for it in a moment. It has got a little top to the pocket as well. But anyway, this has got score lines again. You're going to fold them under and make your pocket. Now your pocket, you don't have to use the illustrated side. You could actually do the reverse, and if you wanted to do your own drawing, you could do that. And then we're going to just glue this down. I mean, this would be lovely with again a little message in it, or a lottery ticket, or you know, or if you're doing an heirloom for a grandchild, and just make it all really personal. So I want to leave a little bit of room for the top of the pocket, which I'm hoping is going to be, is that it? Oh yes, that's it, there we are, that's the top of it. Again, you don't need to put it on, you could use that to put your bits and bobs in, or just put a score line in here because we're missing one, and score along. Fold over, bone folder, just to make sure it's nice and crisp. And then this one sits above it, so you can open it like that, which is really pretty. And we're going to go to centre it up. And what you can do is just add a little tiny reel button on there, and that really looks nice. And then we're going to go over like this, join the edges together, leave a centimetre at the opening end, and join. And then what we're going to do is we're then going to add our pages to our spine, our front and back spine with the inner spine here. Now I'm going to start with my armoire. That's going to be my first page, and what we're going to do is, so we don't get in a mess, we're actually going to put glue over the first tab, just a little bit. You don't want to have so much that it's oozing out, and then this is where we're going to use those little openings that we've made of a centimetre, because it's just going to slot onto that tab, and it fits exactly. And make sure it's on the outside, so the tab is on the inside. So let's do it again. Okay, so we fast forward. I've added all the other pages to the journal, so you can see this is how they're fitting. And then I've added a little decorative piece to the front on some craft foam pads. And then what we can do is we can actually add a little clasp to the journal. We glue this to the back. There's varying sizes, so it's up to you what size you use. We stick that, make sure it's fairly central, and then I'm going to make sure that it closes about like that. I want to have room, because depending on whether you're going to put lots of ephemera in here, you obviously want to have it wider, so I want mine fairly wide. And then round here you can use any of the ephemera just to sort of feed it through. So you could put a little decorative floral piece. We've got all sorts of tags, labels, all sorts that would do the job for doing that. And then we've also got all the extra bits that make it so pretty and unique and different. So again, craft foam pads, but you could use 3D gel just to decorate your pages. We've got, actually I wonder if don't know if I cut it out or not. Again, we've got some pens that you could cut out and add those to your envelope pages. So that could be an extra. We've got a beautiful bee. I want to open my envelope, so I don't think I'm going to put that there. I've got another hedgehog, so we could have one at the top. There's so much, sometimes it's a bit too much, I don't know what to do for the best. Actually, that looks nice. I love this bee, it's such a pretty bee. Put that there. Still got room to use your pocket. And a lovely little mouse. I've got an extra mouse here. So I'll put that on. And I think we're pretty well much coming to the end. There we go. So I hope you've enjoyed the video and that it's given you some ideas of how to decorate and use, but predominantly how to actually construct the journal with that spine. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.